from. Tell your girl she can kick it if she wants some, but we got no time to waste.
Welcome to 4AZ. I'm your host, Tyler McDowell Blanken. We're welcoming a brand new face to the show. I'm excited to introduce you all to a Southern Arizona legend, Ephraim Amissah.
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on? How you been? Welcome.
All is well. Just grad school right now, getting ready for everything to start, but all is well. Thank you.
I want to let our audience know, of course, Ephraim, thank you for joining us. You just got out of class. So this is like when a celebrity is done, like with the movie shoot, and then they give you like 30 minutes, 40 minutes
Right,
of their time.
right.
So I'm just deeply grateful and honored that you're joining us. You just started session B for your
Yes,
grad program.
yeah,
How
yeah.
was the first day?
Just typical syllabus day stuff, just going over expectations, like the layout of the class. It's this like developmental psychology class. So
Oh,
I'm
dope.
really excited to learn about how like adolescents think, obviously, because I'll be working with them for probably the rest of my life. So
Yeah.
um, I'm excited.
Tell us more about what you're studying.
So I'm getting my master's of education in secondary education. So my bachelor's was in educational leadership, and I minored in chemistry. So I want to teach, but because my major wasn't a teaching major, I didn't have any of the student teaching experience or any certifications or anything like that to teach. So this master's, it's accelerated. It's just a 1 year program. So as soon as I'm done with my 1 year, I can start teaching.
Let's go. You must be
Mm,
so excited.
I am beyond excited. There's so many things that I'm excited about.
You're going to be amazing. And this program's through U of A, right? Because
Yes,
obviously you're down in Tucson.
correct.
Beautiful. Go Cats. All right,
Yeah.
E, in this episode, we're going to discuss your journey into teaching, becoming a
Okay.
coach, earning this amazing graduate degree, earning your master's, and much more. I want to start way back when you were a youngin' and you started attending school in Arizona. Now, I know you have East Coast roots. You're a very global dude. What was your experience like growing up, being a student in Arizona, particularly in Marana, where there's not a lot of us?
Right. So it was hard. Really, like my whole life, um, I haven't really been really surrounded by a lot of people of color. So I was born in the Bronx, where obviously plenty of people of color, but I only lived there for a little bit. Then right after I was born, I moved to Ghana with my dad, and I lived there for about 4 years. And I went to preschool over there. I was with his family, and then I came back to the U.S. to Pennsylvania, like right around when I was 5, to kind of start kindergarten and like start all of that. But so as for like primary school, secondary school, like I'm kind of really just like used to it. So it was a big battle for me because I was dealing with my like my Ghanaian side at home with my family, and I'm going to school every day with like my American people, I guess. So values are very different, things are very different. So that was really hard for me to navigate growing up. And I'm an only child, so like I didn't really have like people to really, talk to about that who went through the same thing. But yeah.
I know that's a connection for us being only children. I first want to point out, I'm just noticing, I'm just peeping your Yankee fitted. I don't know if that's a snapback or a fitted
It's
in the
it's a fitted.
background.
Only fitteds in this household.
Oh,
Only fitteds.
only
Only fitteds.
respect. So you claim the Yankees, right? Because you were born in the Bronx, so
most
we can
most definitely.
only okay, only fitted, only the Yankees.
Mhm.
I'm curious. Then when did you feel like you figured it out, or were you ever able to find that sense of community being a student in Arizona, or was it a battle all the way till you graduated from Marana High?
Honestly, it really took me going to college to really start figuring stuff out. Um, because when I was going to school at Marana, obviously that population was really little. But I started going to college. I started kind of not really networking, but really just touching base with a lot of other people with from different clubs. And obviously, college, you have all these people from all these different, not only states but even countries, really just coming together. And I figured out that I had a lot more in common with a lot of other people. Like we shared a lot of the same experiences, and that definitely helped me start to kind of figure stuff out.
I think what you said really touches on the value of college. You know, it's not, I mean, of course it's about what you learn and preparing you for a career,
Yes,
but it's about the people you meet. Like
yes.
that's what you're paying for, those relationships. And it sounds like you've done that. And to tell our audience, for those who don't know you, Ephraim, you are one of the coolest people I know. What I admire so much about you is you get along. No, this needs to be said. This is true. You get along with everyone. And you have, if you decide to run for office, this is going to be very good for you. You have a
Okay.
100% of you have a 100% approval rating amongst everyone, Ephraim. It's amazing. Like when your name comes up, people just smile. You make them happy, and it sounds like you've completely replicated that. You know, not only during undergrad, but also now in your master's program. I'm so
Thank
proud
you.
of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's definitely one of the things that I took kind of from my parents and upbringing, because one of their biggest things was kind of my there's a word for this, reputation. My reputation. Like, even no matter what you do, whatever, like I always kind of in my head kind of think about how it might be perceived. You know what I mean? So like I kind of try to keep that in mind in everything that I do. And I really appreciate you for recognizing that.
Of course, it's my pleasure. I think it sounds like both of us were taught early on, you know, you're not just representing you, you're representing your family, and that means something, right? You're representing the name on the back of the jersey, and that
Exactly.
matters.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of jerseys, so tell us more, and then we'll get into teaching
Okay.
specifically. Tell us more about leaving Arizona for college for undergrad, right? You went to Western New Mexico on an athletic scholarship, and then you ended up coming back. Obviously, right? You're back in Tucson, which
Mhm.
selfishly makes me happy, and I want us to keep you as long as possible. That's one of my ulterior motives for
I
this
got you. No,
conversation. But what was that
I'll be here. Don't
experience
worry.
of but moving to Arizona, right, by the time you got to Marana High and so on and so forth, then leaving for undergrad, but making your way back. Wondering if you can speak to that
So,
experience.
so when I started college, it was like summer slash fall of 2020, pretty much like the height of COVID and with everything going on. So, we're doing moving, we have to be 6 feet apart, doing all this stuff, having all those like regulations, in which makes sense because we had to uphold everything. But that year of college was really, really, really hard for me. Because not only am I, moving away for the first time and like doing all that, like living, like I had roommates and stuff, but I didn't really know them. So basically, I was kind of on my own a little bit. That alone was hard, but mentally, I feel like I definitely wasn't prepared. Everything was online. Like, our football season got canceled, and all this stuff is really like taking a toll. I'm like, why am I even here? Really? And on top of that, like I was kind of studying something that I didn't even know like what I was like why I was studying that. I kind of just picked a major. Um, so I after that year, I no after that semester, the first semester, because in like November they basically said everybody has to go home. So at the end of that semester, I'm like, I'm done with college. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I dropped out for a semester, um, and took some time to like figure stuff out. Like, I genuinely did not have college in mind at all throughout that whole semester, just because I don't know if it's just psychologically, like I was going through a lot, because I was 18. But definitely that time that I took was really helpful, but COVID definitely played a huge role in everything, really.
Mm. And how was the journey coming back to Arizona? Because you probably mapped out, okay, I'm going to spend at least 4 years of college
Mhm.
away, and then we'll see what happens. So, what was the journey of kind of that resilience that you had to build back up? How was it coming back to Tucson?
Honestly, it was good because I was blessed enough to be with my parents still, and kind of like being with the people who really just like brought me up. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like starting over in a way. So it wasn't really anything new, but it was just me taking that like step and really trying to figure stuff out like by myself.
Mm. Well, I applaud your courage, E, because I think particularly, I think as dudes and as men in general, but particularly as black men, I
Mhm.
don't think that we often, speak about our emotions as much as we should, especially when we're going through something. We don't have to have
Very,
this tough, perfect exterior all the time. So I
very
so
true.
appreciate you sharing that for our audience. And now, thinking about your exciting future, how did you land on teaching? So you said you went to New Mexico, you
Hmm.
weren't really feeling the whole experience. I mean, we had like a zombie apocalypse potentially going on with
Yeah.
COVID. You come back, and now we're speaking in 2025, and you are on your way to being an excellent teacher. Why teach?
So it really all started. It was my sophomore year of college. Like a lot happened in that year. Like a lot of stuff was going on.
We need the tea. It's just you and I talking.
Okay.
No one's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
see
no, no,
this.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. We got yeah.
um so it I started to have a really hard time with school. Like because I've never really been like a great student. Um like I it's just it was mostly really hard for me to find what I really like doing, I guess. And the only class that I like, I'll do okay in class. Like I really just went by doing the bare minimum almost. But it kind of takes me getting really interested or really like diving deep into what we're learning for me to try to put in that effort, I guess. But it was this history class, like this gen ed that I'm taking in college, and the professor is teaching whatever, and I have this like epiphany, like I realized that like I've been in class for like half an hour listening to this teacher, and I look down like I have no notes on my paper, and I haven't even like I don't even remember anything that he said in the past however many minutes. And I kind of like all this stuff falls on me, like yo, like I'm in college, like how did I make it this far, like what am I doing, like I can't even whatever. So it's to the point where like I'm having like mental breakdowns like at least a couple of times a week, just because like I don't know what's going on, like I don't know what I'm doing. So I go to talk to my doctor about it, just because like I just wanted to figure stuff out. And luckily she's been like my primary care provider since we moved to Tucson, so since 2011. So she's had what, like 10 plus years of notes. And I'm like talking to her about all this stuff, and she's looking at her notes, and like it's making sense. And she's like, yeah, bro, like you have ADHD. And like it was pretty severe. And like I never really thought about that. Like just like you said, like with the male black community, mental health as a whole is not really, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a myth almost. And especially with my immigrant parents, that was definitely, like a no go pretty much. So I told my mom about this, I told my parents, and like they just casually said, like, oh, yeah, like you had X amount of teachers like talk to us about it in elementary school, recommending that shit. But they just kind of like brush it aside, like, oh, he's just a boy, like he's fine, like, but which I don't really blame them. Like at first, like I was kind of like hurt because I'm like, yo, like I've gone through all this stuff, then it could have been easily prevented if you would have taken those steps. But I didn't really have much animosity towards them, just because I'm like, okay, like they're not really educated on all this, they don't know what really goes on, like, so that happened sophomore year. And I was also, because you know about AmeriCorps and Upward Bound, right?
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I was fortunate enough to get a job as an Upward Bound advisor. And it was really great because I was also in the program when I was in high school. And that was kind of the first job where I've genuinely never felt more qualified to be in that position, just because it was so easy for me to kind of help these kids figure out the whole college thing, because I had to do the same thing. And I'm going through a lot of the same struggles, or I went through a lot of the same struggles that these kids went through. So I was also the program's like chemistry tutor, because that was my minor when I was in college. And that was my first experience really tutoring or really like teaching. So at the same time, I don't know where, so I also was an undergraduate teaching assistant for this calculus class on campus. So I think just these two like jobs, like as an educator, really just kind of fell on my lap, and I didn't really think anything of it because at the time I was pursuing pre-pharmacy. So so I'm in my office hours for the calculus class, and I'm teaching this girl. I remember her name is Joe. I'm like teaching her like how to do this like derivatives, whatever. And she just was like, oh, like she just told me that like, oh, you should be a teacher. And she said that, and like genuinely like I like a light bulb like quite literally went off my head, and I was like, wait, like that sounds like a really good idea. But the thing was, I was on the rocks for at least a couple months just because I was thinking like, do I really want to be like making a less than livable wage for however long? But after a while, like I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna be going to work. I can't speak English. I'm gonna be going to work every single day, like not even really realizing that I'm going to work just because I love what I do so much. So I think that is worth so much more than any dollar amount that I can get paid. And I just felt like, you know what, like I'm comfortable with that as long as I'm doing what I love doing and I come home like fulfilled every single day. So at that point I was like, yeah, like that's definitely what I want to do. So I switched to college education, and I guess I got the ball rolling from there. So
Wow. It's
mm,
so cool to me that you had both of those experiences. You
mhm.
had the TA ship, and then you
Yes.
also had this mentoring opportunity with Upward Bound that, like you said, you felt completely qualified because it was really your lived experience. And then the student, I think you said her name was Joe,
Yeah.
gives you that affirmation that you're like, you know what, I think I'm going to switch over to the College of Ed, and now here you are completing your master's in
Yeah.
secondary ed. So Ephraim, question for you then, because you were
Hmm.
speaking about maybe some of the potential hesitation. Of
Yeah.
course, I think the first of which is usually, oh man, what about the salary?
Exactly.
How was that process for you? Did you kind of weigh the pros and cons, or did you decide, you know what, this is what I want to do? I'm aware of potential challenges, but I'm gonna go for this. Did you have a pros and cons list? Did you have a sit down with your parents? I want to talk about your mom soon because we also
Okay. Yeah.
share
I got you.
we also
I
share
got
our
you.
unwavering love for our
I got
mamas.
you.
But
Yes.
how was that? Because it seems like you were pretty sure, but was there any time you gave yourself to really do that
Honestly,
dance?
I was so in that like couple of months that I was kind of hesitating. It was more so me like just trying to finish off the semester like in pharmacy, and but it wasn't exactly me really like weighing pros and cons because I knew like for a fact that I'm like, okay, like my mind is made up. Because the thing about me is when I want something, like I'm gonna do like everything that I can to like get that thing. You know what I mean?
Period.
And I think it can be a little bit like irresponsible, like to an extent, because like I don't
Tunnel
really
vision.
exactly, yeah, like I don't really think too much about stuff like that. Like I just go and do it. But honestly, I just really knew that that's what I was gonna be doing. But
I feel like there's a Big Sean song that I could have referenced or a lyric I could have threw out there about like you make your mind up, you go for it, and you get
yeah,
it done. Okay,
hmm,
final question on
yeah,
this part. How did your family and friends take the news?
okay.
Assuming sharing
So
it with them was part of this
it's
moment.
it's really funny because like with like my friends, like that was like not really like nothing really changed very much. Like there weren't like a lot of conversations, but my parents, that really
Let's
I
talk
was
about it.
honestly shocked. I was honestly shocked because just like you said, we'll like talk about this later. But my mom, so close with her, like we share a lot together. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, my mom, she's the first person I'm gonna tell, and I'm thinking, okay, she's gonna, fully support me. She's gonna, da, da. I'm like, okay, cool. So I give her a call, and it's the complete opposite of like what I'm expecting. So she's kind of more like, oh, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like she was trying to like push back, almost like tell me like, no, like, you know, and I was like really I felt really discouraged. I'm like, dang, like I was genuinely expecting a lot more. So I knew, but it's kind of funny because her little sister is a teacher, in Georgia. She works in special ed. So when I later on when I told her, she was beyond ecstatic. Like she knew also that okay, like you're gonna love doing this because she obviously knows like the kind of person I am. But yeah, so after I called my mom, I called my dad, and I'm again expecting him to kind of like hesitate a little bit and kind of be like, so I was basically expecting my mom's reaction from my dad, but
Mm,
again, it was the complete opposite. Like he's
wow.
telling me all these things, like supporting me, like, and it's really weird because like my dad doesn't ever really do this kind of stuff. So like after our phone call, he writes me this huge paragraph about how he has faith in me and like all my life when I pursue stuff, like I'm like I love doing it, like I'm so good at it. And like I just it just took me for a loop because I was just not expecting it from him, like out of all people. But
You were shook in the
I
best way
I
possible.
was I was
Shout out
yeah,
to
but
Pops.
no, for real. But then as time went on, my mom started to see like how much I love doing it, and like now she's obviously fully supporting. Like she's kind of with me for everything. So yeah.
I love that. I love
Hmm.
that. So who is this begs the question then, I think a natural transition. Who is Mr. Amisa the teacher?
That's a great question. I feel like I try to think of a lot of my own experiences and kind of the teachers that I've had in the past, and I think of kind of how I saw genuinely how I don't know, like transformative it was to have a teacher who genuinely cares and a teacher who kind of like sees you as like as a person like beyond just a student. And I kind of got a glimpse of that, especially in my senior year, having a couple of teachers who really kind of helped me figure stuff out, especially in that second semester when all the stuff was online. But if I were to envision like myself in like 10 years or whatever, like I feel like I would really strive to be like the cooler, fun teacher. But if there's anything that I've learned, it's like you can't just be like, I don't know, cool and fun, because I feel like that's where boundaries kind of start to get tested and you start to like lose respect, or students might start to lose a little bit of respect for you because like they just see you as just a friend, almost like they don't really see you as like a figure of authority, like you're the teacher, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Being a new teacher, it's so easy to get kind of stuck in that box,
Exactly.
you know.
And yeah, and I feel like this goes for really being new in like any field. Like you just want to be accepted, like whether you're good at your job, like you just want to be accepted. And the people who a teacher would want to be accepted by is, yes, like coworkers and stuff, but you're spending all day with your students, you know what I mean? So I foresee like I'm gonna have to figure out the whole balance thing, you know, but I'm
You will.
sure i have I have a lot of support around me, I know. So yeah.
Tell us more about your love for coaching.
So I've and again, like it never really occurred to me because I've like my whole life I've been trying to put myself in these positions, and it never occurred to me that like maybe I should be doing something where I'm teaching people stuff. But like, so I've played high school. I played football all throughout high school, and I enjoyed it. I obviously went to play a little bit at the college level, and I came home like not really thinking I was gonna coach, but I kind of saw. I remember I went to because this was the first year. This was in I think 2021, and this was the first year that Morana was playing Mountain View for like years, just because of that whole like the band, because of like the rivalry, because of all the stuff that was going on.
The battle of the boot.
Exactly, yeah.
If you
So
know, you know. For those who
right,
aren't based in Southern Arizona, this is
right,
a big deal. The entire town shows up for it, especially
yes,
when Miranda is good, which I know you'll get into.
exactly,
Great
and
coaching.
yeah, and it was. I was shocked because like I went there, like the stadium is packed. You have people standing like all along like the walkway watching. There's nowhere to park. The bleachers are full. Like, it is crazy, and it is nothing. Like, I've never seen something like that at Marana, like, ever. But what really kind of stood out was Coach Stewart, because I'm pretty sure that was his first year, like, as the head coach at Marana. And from, like, I could see, like, as someone who was not, because at the time I wasn't coaching. So even just as really just a stranger, just kind of standing outside looking at the team, I could see just how good, or just the things that he was doing with the team. And I think that's genuinely like the kind of coach that you'd want to play for. Like, he's definitely like kind of for the players, if that makes sense. He listens to them and he puts things into play, and he does what he can to make sure, everybody's okay. And I saw that and I was like, okay, like, this is definitely something that I want to be a part of. So it's just as simple as, approaching him, hey coach, da, 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 like, and then I kind of started coaching from there. So
Dang. And which position group did you work with, or are you working with?
I was coaching the DBs.
DBs. So how was your experience last season with Miranda being ranked, number one in the state? I want to say they were undefeated in the regular season as
Yes,
well.
undefeated in the regular
I
season.
mean, this is just like, Ephraim, I can't even do this on Madden at the all pro difficulty level. I
Hmm.
got Kyler, I can do some nice things, but going
Yeah.
undefeated, battling a lot of the Phoenix schools, the Hamiltons and
Hmm.
Chandlers and all these folks, like being in that conversation, how was it then for you to transition from being a spectator, seeing the vibe that was the Battle of the Boot, to actually coaching on the team and not just getting that experience, but contributing to the success of one of the greatest, if not the greatest season in
Hmm.
Marana football history? Have you kind of
So
taken time to really reflect on
yeah.
that?
So last year, so unfortunately, I wasn't really been able to like be present very much
Mm.
last year because it was my senior year of school. Like, there's so much
Yeah,
going on.
you had a
And
lot
on
going
top of
on.
that, like, I live kind of like central Tucson,
Mm.
and the drive alone is like
That's a far.
35 drive. Yeah.
I
So
used to make that commute. That's a yeah.
yes.
That's
So
a long
like,
way.
I got school over here, got to stop by home, and it was
Yeah.
just a lot going on.
Mm.
So and it hurt me so much because I'm like, again, that's something that you want to be a part of. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so last season I wasn't been able to like be very present, but again,
Mm.
like, ever since his first season there, like, I mean, players, yeah, you obviously need players, but like, a coach is what will really set you apart. And me as like a younger like coach, I was the youngest coach there, and it was it was a little bit different because obviously, like, I'm not as good of a coach as like the older ones are because they have years of experience. I only had experience like playing like at a lower level, but they've been coaching and coaching, like, they've seen all these things, so their knowledge is just through the roof. Me personally, I didn't really have that knowledge because, like, I was more like, I don't really study, or at least at that time, I didn't really study the game. You know what I mean? Like, very familiar with different concepts. But I feel like I was able to connect with the boys on a different level that they were really able to with the older coaches. So I feel like that's where I kind of compensated for, my lack of football IQ, my lack of football knowledge and coaching knowledge is, kind of like I was like a different kind of support in a way, if that makes sense.
It does. And that's really, in my experience with coaching basketball, that's really the ideal role for assistants in many ways, especially
Mhm.
those who are new to the coaching gig, is you're
Exactly.
there to really be that relational component of checking in on
That,
the players.
mhm.
Kind of you have the temperature of the team at any given moment while learning from the vets who
Right,
are also on staff.
right.
I love that for you. I'm so excited for you, Ephraim. I'm just thinking about this. Picture this with me. When Miranda builds a statue for you,
Oh, yeah, when?
you will hear me out. You just have to decide on the location for this. But
Oh,
when they build that statue on MI Road, Marana High School, I think they're going to welcome you back and say, you know what, Ephraim, we know you were busy last time. We made that playoff. We made that open division push, but come on back. You can contribute. You're going to do amazing things. Okay. Before I
thank you.
ask you about your family and specifically about your very special relationship with your mom, who you referenced, tell us briefly about grad school. Best parts of grad school, toughest challenges. It's different than undergrad, is it not?
It's definitely been different. So I've only been a grad student for like 1.5 months. But it's really hard balancing everything. I've but it's not too new because, excuse me, I've always worked at least like one job while I was in college, just because like rent is expensive. Oh my goodness, it is so expensive.
It's crazy out
But
here.
yep. And like I was saying earlier, I've never really been the greatest student, like in terms of like planning. And one of my biggest issues is procrastinating and just meeting deadlines. Um, but yeah, really like 9 times out of 10, um, my head isn't really into what I'm learning, I guess. But with grad school, it's like I really want to pay attention because I realized that like at this point, I'm starting to I'm starting like building a foundation for really the rest of my life as an educator. So this is stuff that I really want to be doing, because I've just used to doing the bare minimum. Okay, I have to meet 2,000 words. I'm gonna do that. Try to find loopholes here, try to do all this stuff. But it's so different in grad school because I'm like the stakes aren't extremely high per se, but it's kind of more so in the back of my head knowing that I'll be applying this. And I really like to pay attention. I really like to take good notes. And just because, again, like I'll probably be referring back to these notes plenty of times during my first few years of teaching. So, so yeah, grad school's been interesting. It's been a little bit more difficult just because like there's a lot more that I have to actually really apply. But, um, but yeah, I mean, I've kind of started to learn a little bit about the education system, but there's just so many layers into education, like as for like whether it's like grading or assessments, like there's just so much that goes into it that I didn't really know before. So I think
It's
learning
nuanced.
exactly, yeah. So learning maybe why in my past certain systems were in place, why standardized testings, like why they had to use all this different criteria to evaluate students, all this stuff. I think that's a really cool part of grad school, is just really like answering like why is this thing in place.
Mm. Is the plan to move back to the East Coast after your program?
So I want to say yes. um I want to say yes, but there's a lot of different factors that play into that. Like, because as a young person, like one of the things that are driving me, of course, is, like my perceived salary, like how much I think I'm going to make. And kind of knowing that Arizona is probably not, if salary is what you're thinking of, Arizona might not be one of the places that you want to teach in. So I've been just kind of looking and like learning about, different places, different states that might be better in education, states that maybe value teaching more, things like that. Last summer, because I was in a research program, in my research group, we got invited to the American Psychological Association conference in Seattle, and it was so cool. Like we had a panel. We were able to like talk a little bit about our near peer mentoring, and we were able to show a little bit of our research. And it was cool because I met these students from Washington State who were like researching like the same exact thing that I was researching, but it was really cool. But that was my first time in Seattle, and I fell in love with the city. Like the weather was amazing. Just the environment, just the because it's been a while since I've been like in like a city. You know what I mean? And just the public transportation was incredible. It was incredible. So,
Public transit. What's that? We don't really have
right,
a lot of that.
exactly,
in
yeah. Like
Tucson.
maybe downtown Tucson is decent, but that's about it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely I do plan on moving back east. Maybe Seattle. Obviously, that's not east, but Seattle's one of the places that I'm thinking of. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of like a future me kind
Exactly.
of concern.
Yeah.
But
We're just
but
trying to get through. We're just trying to get through the
yep,
second session B, second
exactly. Right,
session.
right.
I'm so happy for you. That's really important. Like you said, Ephraim, I love that you're already thinking about, what does teaching look like across the country? Because
Mhm.
Arizona has its pros, it also has its difficulties. So
Right.
I like that you're actually kind of picturing, okay, I'm in this program right now that I know there's going to be a day when I graduate from it, and then what's next for me, and
Mhm.
how does the educational landscape look
Right.
across the
Right.
country? For those who are watching and or listening right now, uh, we need to brainstorm how to get Ephraim to stay in Arizona. So get your cactus emojis ready. Maybe we can organize a group call or a Google Meet.
Mhm.
We got to do our part to try to keep him here. But regardless, I know you're going to shine and you are going to continue to be amazing. Okay, finally, before we get to family talk,
Mhm.
your birthday occurred
Yeah.
recently. 23, your Jordan year.
Agree. Yes, sir.
How does it feel to be 23?
Honestly, it like it's really, I mean, this is a very cliche answer, but it's really not really anything new. Like nothing changed like off the bat. Cause I feel like the way that I think is, once you turn, 16, that's big. Once you turn 18, that's big. 21 is huge. And then you're
It's all down it's all
and
downhill
then
from
it's
there.
all
We
downhill.
got to wait
Yeah.
till 30. Got to wait 9 more
Exactly.
years.
Yeah. So it's really just, just another day, I guess. It
Okay.
was nothing crazy, but
Okay.
I went out to dinner with my roommates. They surprised me
Yes.
with all these gifts, and I came home. It was good.
Yes.
It was good.
Yeah, I didn't realize you all were a group. That
Hmm.
makes me so happy.
For sure.
Great, great people. Okay,
Yeah.
Ephraim, we waited long enough. You and I share this. This is also something that I admire about you. You love your mom. Tell us about this relationship. You highlighted it earlier and the complexities of a mother-son relationship. Throughout the years, especially as you grow up and figure out what you want to do with your life.
Mhm.
Tell us about this relationship with your mom because it seems like she is such a driving force for you, and
Definitely.
I'm just inspired by how open you are about sharing with others
Hmm.
how much you love this woman.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my dog. Like we've been through a lot together. Like like I was saying, my parents, they both immigrated here from Ghana, so like I'm a first generation American born. So like growing up, like that was really difficult just trying to figure everything out. But yeah, I know a lot of people say this, but genuinely, my mom has worked so hard to not only for her to get to where she's at right now, but more importantly, like for me to get to where I'm at right now. Like I was basically the main reason why she wanted to come over here, start things new because obviously like this is the land of opportunity or whatever. So she knew that, there was a life in the future, I guess. But she's genuinely so inspiring, so supportive, and she really pushes me to be like the best that I can be. Um, like my personality and ultimately my whole essence is like a reflection of her. Like I have her eyes, her smile, like all of
Hey,
that.
that's a
Mom, like we
bar.
used
That's
to
a
be,
bar, Ephraim. We're
yeah.
gonna we're gonna quote that production team. Make sure you get on this.
No, yeah, like we used to
That's
be
big
twins.
time.
We used to be twins when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Uh,
we've seen the pictures.
yep,
Follow Ephraim on Instagram.
yep. So yeah, she does a lot, and I really appreciate her for like showing me. I get my, what's the word?
You said essence before.
Yes, but
Yeah,
it was
your drive, your
kind of
passion
drive.
for people.
She's a workaholic,
Mm,
and I think I definitely get that from her. Like there
wow.
was a while where like if I'm not doing something, like if I'm sitting here, like I'm wasting time. Like I
Mm.
I gotta find something to do, and I feel like I get like that motor, that engine from her. So she's definitely an inspiration
That's beautiful. And shout out to your pops as well. It sounds like you
for
also
sure.
have a special relationship with him. Did
Yeah.
people ever ask you what it was like to be an only child? I still get that question.
Me too. Like it
What do you
is
say?
like it's so we might have had like pretty different experiences, but me, I used to like when I was a kid, I used to genuinely I did not like my life. Like I used to hate my life. And like I hate like I'm as you probably know, I'm probably like a people oriented person. So like me being at home alone all day was not ideal in my head. It's kind of funny because I used to write my parents letters like asking them for siblings just because like it was at a point where
Get,
I'm
get out.
yeah, like
That was so formal of you. Did you
it was
sign it as
crazy,
well?
right? Like it was
Sincerely, your kid.
crazy. It was crazy, but
Wow.
I definitely do appreciate it. Um, all that food in the fridge just for me, and
Period.
I definitely grew to kind of appreciate that. Like I know how to um keep myself entertained because I've spent my whole life doing that. But I feel like as a child, it was a little bit harder for me because I didn't really know about like social boundaries. You know what I mean? So like when I was a kid, like making friends was like hard because like I'm like, all over you, like just because I'm not used to having somebody to like, like basically like check me, be like, no, bro, like you can't do that. You know what I mean? But between me and my parents, like not only like there's obviously that cultural gap, but there's also a generational gap as well. Because my dad, he was born in '53, so he's turning 72 this year, I think. And so that was also a problem because like we definitely don't really understand each other. You know what I mean? So it definitely took some time to really try to start building like a relationship with him. It really took me moving out, and I think he realized that, oh wait, like he's not a kid anymore, and he's going through all this stuff. So then things started to change a little bit, but
Mm.
yeah,
And how's that relationship now? Look at me being nosy, being messy.
it's it is it is
It sounds like
it,
moving out was worked out really well for everybody.
it's honestly what I really needed. Like
Wow.
I think that's definitely where I found my confidence for sure.
Mm.
It definitely took me moving out. It definitely took me going to university. It definitely took me doing all these things to really find my confidence. Like when I started going to the U of A, I really started to learn who I was and kind of how to express myself. And it was really through fashion, honestly, because I would consider myself a pretty creative person, but like I don't really have a creative outlet per se. Like like I like to draw and things and like make music and all that, but like I wouldn't say that I'm good at that. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of do it. But one thing that I really found that I really like doing that I like to say that I'm good at it is throwing a fit together, is the whole fashion stuff. So I think that's genuinely what kind of made me be myself or find myself, I should say. But yeah.
You must be studying telepathy as well, Ephraim. I swear to you, this was not on the pod outline I sent you. I was gonna ask you about fashion at some point.
I
You be getting fits off. For
I
real.
I try.
This
Yeah.
is documented. This is another skill that you have. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes,
Yeah.
I can confirm for anyone out there who doesn't yet know you.
Yeah.
Okay, Ephraim, we always close every episode with an exit ticket. I have one question for you before we get out of here. The people need to know, what is the most embarrassing song on your playlist?
The most embarrassing song, honestly, I would say that there's too many. Like, um, honestly, so
We're
I have
building
a
up the
play,
suspense. Yes.
I have a playlist. It's called White Girl Wednesday.
Okay.
So on Wednesdays, I listen to this playlist, and one artist who's just on there is Taylor Swift. And a song that I genuinely can never skip is the one that got away. Like I will turn my speakers up all the way. Like I don't care if they blow, as long as I listen to the song as loud as I can. Like genuinely, yeah.
Dare I ask, from which other artists are on the White Girl Wednesday playlist? Are we throwing up
Um,
Justin
there's
Bieber, some
there's a
Sabrina
lot of
Carpenter?
there's a lot of who Megan Trainor's on there.
Okay, facts.
I got some Backstreet Boys, Cascada.
Period. Say less.
Like I got some Disney bangers like Can't Stop Singing from a Teen Beach movie. Better in Stereo. Oh my gosh, like the list quite literally goes on and on.
My true final question: tell us how we can connect with you and support all that you're doing.
I'm on Instagram, like you have it right there, Ephraim Amissah, and hopefully something crazy good happens and you'll be hearing about me in the news. I don't know, but I hope so.
That statue at Marana High School. I'm telling you,
Maybe.
we're
I don't know. We'll have to
that's just
see.
the beginning. That's
That's
just the beginning. It's so great to see you. I'm so proud of you. This is just so surreal, having known you in a yester life and now seeing all that you're doing and all that is to come. So proud of you. And please, everyone, be sure to support Ephraim. Connect with Ephraim. You heard it here first. Also, let us know what connected with you most from Ephraim's story. Please leave us a comment here on YouTube or on social. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at 4azteach and 4azteach.org. You know we love our audio listeners too. Please be sure to leave us a 5-star review on your preferred audio platform. It goes a long way. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.